What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining me for Real Talk NFT. As you know, I'm your host, Brian. Everybody knows my amazing co host, Joe. And we have a really special guest here for you today. It's the CTO, it's the founder of a Solana NFT project. He goes by 404 on the internet. We're really happy to have him on the podcast. We're going to learn all about the project. And the project's called Frogana. Really excited to have 404 on. How you doing today?
Hey guys, how's it going? It's absolute pleasure to be here. Things are going great, and guys, I'm super excited for this conversation.
And yeah, we're excited too, 404. You're doing some great things here. I've been kind of following the project just recently, personally myself. Reached out to you to jump on the podcast because I think it's something our audience, our listeners, definitely want to learn more about. One thing that always attracted me about the project was the art and just kind of the overall vibes of the community is something that I was naturally attracted to. But before we dive deep into the project and all the details, would love to know a little bit about you, about how you got into Web3, just a little bit about the background.
Absolutely. So very early on, as I said, I've been doing GovTech for probably the past 10 years, but I've always been an artist. That's always been my calling. As a kid, your dad always says, get a real job. Art could be secondary, and now look at the world today. Art's running everything. We have all these big currencies attached to JPEGs now, and no one really saw how that was. So I guess for me, my initial entry was I got back into art while I was traveling a lot, um, posting on Instagram all the time, and one of my favorite artists actually posted a Discord link and some super cool art that he's been working on, and it was something called an NFT. At the time, wasn't really familiar with what NFTs were. I've gotten to crypto early on due to like Dogecoin. I've made a quite significant amount of money there, and I just kind of had a feeling that crypto would be the future, not knowing NFTs would be just another layer or iteration of that proven point. So I joined his Discord, and man, I've been a gamer my whole life, so I'm familiar with Discord and things of that nature. But this was totally different. The vibes, the community in there was just like nothing I've ever seen on the internet. It's hard to get a conglomerate of people that believes in something or project founder, team, artist, or whatever to rally and just the vibes. It was amazing. So eventually, I got very familiar with NFTs. Floated around different blockchains, but unfortunately, the artist did rug. At the time, I had no idea what a rug was, but he took our money and disappeared. Sad sob story. But from there, there was another community member that was working on a pretty cool project on the Solana side because I started off with Ethereum after meme coins and stuff of that nature, and got very familiar with the Sol ecosystem. The guy at the time was tying Airbnb arbitrage to like tokens, and I thought it was a very cool concept. That's when I started learning about utility projects and the difference between Sol communities and ETH communities. And there's a very vast difference. People on Sol can barely hold water worth for anything in regards to a nice flip or trade. But moving on, got rugged on the Soul side too. Took a break, came back very early on at the start of 23. I started by listening to a lot of spaces and things of that nature. One of my favorite shows was the Espresso Shot, ran by Sansa and Shotgun, big Azuki people. And from there, I kind of just took my step out of the silent majority, got way more active in the Web3 space, finally started talking on spaces myself. And I've really been hosting spaces ever since. So fast forward one more time, it's December, Christmas time. There's these super cool frogs that all of a sudden are on Magic Eden. I'm like, whoa, this is the best art I've seen on Magic Eden. What is this? It was probably one of the first projects I bought that I did not buy for any monetary value or gain. The art was just phenomenal, top tier. And when I started doing more research, I found out there was a very small at the time community Discord. I was one of the first members to join. It was very chaotic with everyone coming in. There's no founders, just this amazing art. So I volunteered very early on to help out with the community, and from there, it just ripped. It was the craziest Christmas of my life. Um, I got socks for Christmas, but watching Frogana's run up and the community and the vibes, it was just you just had to be there. It was like 2021 NFT run all over again. There was cross this chain gnostic community that just started forming out of nowhere. We had tons of board apes, tons of people from AVAX, Say, Sui, Bitcoin. It was all over. It was really this collective of individuals that rallied around really cool art that had a very nice conception story. Given that the founder, he rugged for like 9 grand during the pre-sale. There's a few people involved that really helped out with the full rebirth of Froganas. There was Dak Days from Board Ape Solana Club. There was Wing from the Magic Eden team. Gentle Monk as well. Big shout out to all of those guys. Froganas wouldn't even be a project or exist if not for those few individuals that helped out with the early stages. But again, Froganas has always been an uphill battle. There was a ton of, I'm not gonna say toxicity, but there was a ton of negativity at the infancy of the project. Given there's no founder, everyone thinks they have the right answer. KOLs get involved and only really want to line their pockets. So kind of, took a big tank. We had a voting process for a community council, and the community council were kind of some of those bad actors that kind of tarnished the project very early on. That's really why we got the label as we're a Bored Ape Yacht Club pump and dump, wash trade collection, whatever you would like to call it. Just given the nature of those were the PFPs that were prominent in the community. Gordon Goner still has his Froganas. I think that's pretty awesome. Honestly, it was very organic, man. But you'd have to actually be there to know this, to understand it. And I preach this a lot on spaces that I'm on. If anyone ever has any questions about Froganas, I'm an open book. I was one of the original team members that's never left the community. It would have just felt wrong given that we have a ton of whale holders still that hold 50, 60 plus frogs, and there's still this strong belief in the community. So I'm gonna fast forward again. It's probably around June 20th now. At this point, the community's getting crazy. There's a call for royalties to be put on the collection, given that we are an immutable zero royalty collection. With the formation of the Magic Eden Diamonds, it incentivized a lot of farming. So, with that being said, with us having this fantastic art, there's no royalties. What better project to, you know, be incentivized to farm? So we slowly went down from a 20-25 soul floor down to kind of where we are now, around like one soul. Given that there's this wash trading mechanism that is incentivized to, keep us farmed low floor. But I took it upon myself, seeing it's a double-edged sword. Since we don't have royalties, we're always being farmed. That gives us a ton of visibility. So if there's
Hmm.
a obvious head in the community that is leading this ship, no matter how it's being built, I can still provide value to my community, and that's just kind of what happened. I've secured a lot of crazy partnerships and deals, um, tons of founders, bigger network that gave us access to a lot of dope whitelists, a lot of dope projects. When the 404 meta was super hot and prevalent, we partnership with Newton Mom, Newton Labs to actually bring these projects on the Frogana Friday stage to teach my community about hybrid DeFi, how NFTs are changing. A lot of innovators and builders are coming into this space, and I do feel that the next bull run may not look like it did in the previous cycle, given that the technology is constantly innovating. Newer projects are coming out. Right now we see D Gods kind of rallying back up. It's awesome to see. It's kind of giving that sign that the NFT bull may or may not be back. I know we're battling meme coins and things of that nature, but yeah, man, Forgotten has been a crazy journey. It's still ongoing. Like I told you a little bit earlier, we had a call with Magic Eden yesterday to figure out how we can actually tackle the issue with the wash trading. We're speaking about potentially reminting the collection with a small royalty fee to actually be able to build out a lot more things, given that kind of we have a treasury, but it's a self-built treasury. Everything we've done has been out of our own pockets. um, we have our own Frogana Labs that we're working on, which is like a NFT slash token launchpad that we've been revamping so many times. We have awesome community devs that have been just doing this out of love for the community, and that's really all that we've been doing. We're super big on under promising and over delivering, given the fact that we don't have a war chest of mint funds, like I've been told by other founders, to really build anything out that could provide value. But our biggest thing was always the community, just leveraging the community. It's a community driven project. That's why I say I'm not really the founder. I like just saying I'm the lead frog, because this has always been a community effort. I don't make it about me. It's always about the people around me, because I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing, meeting the people I'm meeting, or having the connections I have without people that in the community that believe in the steps that we're trying to take to keep us on the map.
Yeah, that's a great story. Just love everything that you're doing there. And some of these community takeover projects, if it's in the meme coin world or the NFT world, seem to really thrive in the Web3 ethos overall. So it's great to see a community rally around just, kind of, it's cliche to say, but like good vibes, good people, and they just want to build something together. So hats off to you for what you've built up until this point. And it sounds like you have some really cool partnerships in the works. Kind of give me an idea what the vision looks like for Ghana. Like, why would somebody? I know you mentioned I've looked on Magic Eden and saw that there's a ton of trading, and assumed that maybe there was some wash trading because there are zero royalties. And you noted how you're going to look to rectify that. But give me an idea why somebody would want to be involved in the project. What's attractive about Froganas, and maybe like if there's utility you're thinking about down the line. In addition, I know you talked about Frogana Labs and possibly token association. Would love to know a little bit about a bigger picture there.
Absolutely. So at first, we just had this idea of just being like the crypto punks of Solana. Given that we're not making money off any transaction, given that I think there was 30,000 sales this month alone, we didn't see a single dime of that. Um, so it's just one of those things where we just really want to leverage our IP. We really could see ourselves being something like the Pudgy Penguins of Solana. We have this very cutesy IP. Very early on, there was all these talks of like baby clothes, animated shorts, things of that nature. But with Frogana Labs, the plan with that was to be like this boutique launchpad that really vetted projects out that could kind of protect people's funds, so they weren't always getting rugged by a unknown project where they're promising a game, then the game never comes out, but they already have your money. So you kind of sitting there like a deer in the headlights. So with that, the utility that we kind of came up with that is for every project that we launch, and whether it's a token, NFT, a percentage of the funds or token allocation would go towards Froganas that are staked on the new platform that we're building. That way, all you have to do is hold your frog, stake your frog. Granted, everyone has full IP rights to their Fraganas, so you could do anything you want with it. There were a pretty big coffee venture that was going on at the height of Fraganas, and that just kind of fell apart. But we still have all the artwork and designs for that. We have augmented reality business cards being built as well. It's like a little white card, but if you scan it with your phone, there's a 3D asset of your Fragana and all your social links on the side as well, just to connect and meet up with people IRL, and not just oh, here's my ex. Well, here's my card. Just these are all my socials. Fun things of that nature. Really, just we just wanted to have a group of people that just enjoyed the good art. It's T's vision was just to enjoy the art. So I try to stay as close to what T wanted to do from the start. It's always been about the community. It's always been about the art. That's what brought me into NFTs is really the art and the community aspect. Granted, it's crypto, it's money. Everyone here is for their own reasons. We have investors, flippers, degens, whatever you like to call them. But my real currency has always been the network, the relationship building. You can't take money to the grave, but the relationships you make with people is always just everlasting if it's done the proper way. So we really focus on just bringing good energy, good vibes, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of just secondary, and that's why I really hound the under promise over deliver, because we don't have access to funds like a lot of these other projects. There is no royalty or anything like that. Granted, We did the math. There's a ton of money being made on the marketplace side, due to the wash trading. But as the community and Fraganas, we're the ones that actually get all the negativity of the volume and things of that nature, because it's become really PvP for us when we're not even trying to be PvP. We're just trying to
Mhm.
exist. But with existing comes a lot of FUD, because everyone wants to be the top project, and when you have these cute little frogs always sitting in the number one spot, it's like, what are they doing? Why is all this volume on the collection, but there's never any movement of the floor? So that's the big reason why we were talking with Magic Eden yesterday about a potential remake of the collection. Only because before T left, the artist, he made the collection zero royalties immutable. So we don't have access to the contract. We don't control anything. It's just we're doing what we can, given the cards that were dealt to us. But eventually the deck's gonna get reshuffled, and we're gonna get new cards, and that's just how I look at it. I'm super big on failing forward, man. Prior service military. I'm big on leading from the front. I lead by example. I'm not gonna tell anyone in the community to do something that I haven't done or doing myself. I encourage anything that people would like to do with their IP. And we're just building it very slow. One person that's genuine is a lot better than 100 people that just want a quick backflip. So we're just building it out organically as possible. And whatever change or things happen, we just do it with the best intentions. Given if we do have royalties, again, I was speaking with Wayne, and it's a double-edged sword all over again. Given the fact that with us being zero royalty wash traded, we are always at the top of the marketplace. Whatever marketplace you go to, you'll always see Froganas. But if we end up putting the royalties on, you know, all of that will change. We'll lose all the actual organic volume we had before the Tensor Points and Magic Eden Diamonds. And it's like starting over with a clean slate. And I don't know how people would like that, given that we do have a ton of holders that aren't as active, but they still hold their frogs. They still pop in the chat every now and then. If the floor even moves by point 0.5, everyone coming back like, oh my God, we're pumping. And it's like, sorry, guys, it's not us. But we would love for it to the farmers to stop, but we just do what we can. And yeah, it's every day is an uphill battle. I'm to the point where I don't even call them bad days anymore. I call them character building days, because that's what it feels like.
Let, us turn the page for a second because you said some exciting stuff. Being new to Frogana's, I just seen the artwork firsthand. It looks really nice. I love it. For me, I love art that kind of points towards history, and I think it has some relevance to Pepe the Frog. I'm guessing, I'm not so sure, but the frog DJ mentality is definitely something that a lot of people gravitate towards. Can you tell us about the projects, the partnerships that you worked with in the past? I'm very curious about those.
Oh yes, well I can probably go in reverse. So, this week, or sorry, next week, we have a partnership with Keystone Wallet. Um, Man, we've had so many. We have Nifty Island coming up as well. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not. I'm sorry if I can't. If you guys are listening to Nifty, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's a lot of crazy things happening. And it's just due to, I guess, the volume, and people always see us on the timeline. I'm doing spaces every week. Every week I have a space in like 2 hours. Um, but yeah, there's been so many partnerships I can't even think of them off the top of my head. Even with like prominent collections that were coming out, we've always had all the hypest mints. Whether it's crypto undeads, I know the Omen Bitcoin project's pretty hype, and it's to the point now where I'm kind of integrated in so many different communities. I'll just buy a project just to vibe with the community, and people will actually know who I am, which I think is kind of cool because I still think I'm a nobody to this space. That's why my name's 404. I'm an IT nerd, and I feel like with the name 404, everyone knows it leads to nothing. But I can turn this nothing into somebody, and that's kind of what's happening. So it's pretty cool. So sorry if I kind of glazed over that, but dude, there's been so many partnerships, and we probably still have like 300 plus tickets in the Discord like every day. There's always a new ticket coming in, like, hey, we would love to party with you guys. We'll love to party with you guys. But it's to the point now where it's like we have to be more selective, given the fact that a lot of people that want to partner with us just literally want to partner with us, just given the fact that we're always relevant. Um, we're always seen, regardless of how we're seen. People just like the visibility of knowing that, hey, we've partnered with Froganas. So There's been a lot of changes in regards to that, but there's a lot of cool ones coming up as well outside of the Keystone wallet and Nifty. I know we did Inso or Insai, and there's a couple more that are coming up. I don't know if I can speak on those just yet because they're actually pretty huge.
Yeah, love to hear that. I mean, something about your project that just right off the cuff here, it seems like a pretty reasonable price. I see it all over the timeline, things that people love. It's what caught my eye initially as well. The reason why we wanted to have you on the podcast. So that's definitely a pro there. So good art, good community, and I could see being part of your community, it's always beneficial to have the opportunity for whitelists. You know, it's like almost the Frogana is an access pass to a lot of the upcoming Solana NFT projects, and you're saying you're getting flooded with opportunities left and right. So that's almost another reason for people to really explore the project on an even deeper level. I'm curious, what are your thoughts? I know you weren't originally the developer or creator of this initially going on the Solana blockchain, but talk to me a little bit about like your personal views of NFTs on Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana. Like, what circles do you typically run in, and why?
Well, me personally, I'm not a chain maxi whatsoever. I'm very chain gnostic. I like to dabble in every single blockchain. Just yesterday, I got introduced to Say. I have a buddy that's really cool with a lot of big guys at Say, so got some free Say. Set up my Compass wallet. I'm also on ADA, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Um, I just I try to support everybody. I again, I'm not a chain maxi. I don't think there's just one chain that's just going to be this superhero. I personally believe Web3 is a collective effort. It shouldn't be as PvP as it is, given meme tokens and pump fun have definitely made it a lot more PvP than it was in the past.
Hmm.
But I just support everybody, man. I don't think one chain's better than another. Granted, some are more priced out than other chains, but what I've noticed is blockchains with a smaller price entry have a lot bigger communities, and they're not as what's the word I should use? They're not as bougie. Because it's like a status thing, man. If someone's rocking a board 8 PFP or a high value like Spirit Azuki, there's this whole clout class thing that you just separate yourself from just due to your pockets being a bit deeper than someone else's. But what I've seen on these smaller chains is everyone just treats everyone the same, regardless of what PFP you own. But it's still nice to have like, oh, there's a board ape in here, there's an Azuki in here, or whatever. And I just support everybody, man, regardless of what PFP you wear. We're all still humans behind the PFP. We're not taking these JPEGs to the grave. We may take a ledger to the grave, but the JPEGs are still on the blockchain. So I just support everybody, man. No matter the chain, I just want everyone to win.
I love that, and yeah, I mean that's a great mindset. That's why I think this project's going to be successful because it's like your community, guys like you that are building this out the right way, just an organic way. You seem very authentic. We talk about that a lot on this podcast. That we look for projects with like authentic communities, authentic founders. And you're right, there is. I have some higher value PFPs or NFTs, obviously, but I don't really always try to like flex those as much as some people. I do remember what it was like a year or two ago. There was like a tweet from a pretty famous guy going around. It's like I don't talk to anybody with a PFP worth less than $100,000. I might be getting that wrong, but I remember reading that and I was like, "Ooh,
Nope, I read
that's
that
a
as well.
yeah, that was a tough take. I remember I was like, "Ooh, I might be more mindful what my PFP is right now because we want to include everyone because we are in a very niche group here. At the end of the day, we want to bring in the masses and not isolate people, and we want to give people an opportunity to succeed." I'm curious about. We talked a little bit about at the beginning. What are your thoughts about like the upcoming NFT bull run? Do you think? I guess I should reel back a little bit. I do think that NFTs are going to definitely have a bull run again. I don't know if it's going to look the same as 2021, but I do believe that we kind of hit a low point and we're starting to climb out of it. Curious about your macro thoughts for NFTs.
I personally believe, just like you said, the cycle probably won't look the same. It may not be as PFP only. It may just be a little bit different, given that technology in Web3 has been advancing so much. Like I said, when I was hosting with Mutanmon every Friday, I learned so much about the hybrid DeFi, the 404s, the SPLs, ERC 21 Alpha, etc. And I think it's going to be vastly different than it was in the past, but it's definitely going to happen. It may happen on Solana. I don't want to sound like I'm being biased here, but given what Frank's doing with D Gods and creating that culture where it's really not just about profit, and it's more so about community. How bullish your community is, how big your backing is more than I guess the price of your project. I just saw what Soul Jakey did yesterday with the Canalita whales, and I think that's pretty awesome. I'm a super base holder myself, so we're seeing all these signs that people are getting hype for NFTs again. There's a lot of negativity in regards to Pump Fund, where it's like, there's 10,000 tokens created a day, but out of those 10,000, I mean, maybe like 10 hit or anything like that. So it's like it went from being about community and culture to just dumping on your friends with meme tokens, celebrities coming in, pumping tokens. No one knows what's going on, and it's just kind of getting old. But it's just like a cycle, man. Winter, spring, summer, fall. You got celebs, meme coins, NFTs, and etc. So it's just one of those things where it's like it may be different, it may be the same, but I do know that there will be probably new front running projects that weren't leading last cycle due to them being able to adapt to the changes and not really be stuck in that hermit turtle stage where it's like, well, we've always done it this way. This is what got us to the top the last time. And I feel like those projects may really fall to the back because they're not embracing the change. Web3 is so early. I hate saying that, but it's really the truth. We're so early in this stage where it's like 4 to 6% of the entire world is even trading NFTs or in Web3. So it's like we don't know what's actually going to be the next biggest thing. But I think the people that are the most prepared, active, and alert will be the real front runners next NFT cycle.
Yeah, there's no denying the technology. And then, you can talk about just like how NFTs are fun. Joe talks about it a ton, just how we have fun with NFTs, if that's like from an access standpoint, of community standpoint, utility standpoint, gaming, or you just kind of vibe overall. Again, it's cliche to say, but they are freaking fun. And I'm as guilty as anybody going down the meme coin rabbit hole because there's a lot of liquidity there. And meme coins can definitely be captivating, especially when you put in like one soul and it runs up to 10 or 20. So there's definitely like a get rich feeling there, but it's running the same playbook, in my opinion, that a lot of NFT projects did in 2021. You hit the nail on the head for when you talked about like celebrities getting involved and rugs. And I remember when Pumped Off Fun, it's talking like it was years ago, it was like months ago. Pumped Off Fun was launched, and I was like, damn, you can launch a token. And then you just started seeing hundreds of thousands of tens of thousands of tokens being launched. Definitely, making the water a little bit more murky every day, and kind of feels like it's running its course. But at the end of the day, I do think meme coins they've been around for years. You said you did very well with Dogecoin, and that's a meme coin that's been around for years and years. And I think meme coins will find its place as much as NFTs, but it's kind of out of control, in my opinion. Even just this week, we people were jumping around blockchains. Solana was kind of the meme coin blockchain. We talk about Bitcoin and runes and where we think a lot of that could flow. Ethereum obviously has its fair share of meme coins, and then Justin Sun comes out and Tron meme coins were the hit thing, and those were a hit for like 2 days. And
Yeah.
people were pretty much Solana meme coin scammers were pretty much running the same scams over on Tron. I didn't get too involved with it because I was like, we'll see if this really has legs. But personally, I do see a world where meme coins can thrive, but it's around similar thesis around why NFTs could do well with community, with whitelists, and everything along those lines. What are your thoughts about projects that create a meme coin and connect a meme coin to their NFT project? And is that something you've ever considered?
It's funny. I have considered that. I'm actually really good friends with SAS from the Bozo Hybrid team, and I really loved how they did their version of hybrid DeFi. And that's another reason why I was kind of really bullish on the SPO 404s on Solana, because that's exactly what they were doing, is attaching meme tokens to the NFT. But they didn't really call them meme tokens because it's more like a utility token where it kind of gives you that feeling of trading a meme token, but still allowing you to be a part of an NFT community if you even hold just one token, but to have the PFP. I know it varies per project, but the magic number is usually like if you hold 10,000 tokens, you can convert those tokens into an NFT, and it makes your NFT hyper liquidity just off the simple fact that it can be transferred from NFT to token back and forth. Um, I do feel like that probably should have been how NFTs worked from the jump. Given that you have a lot of collections that launch multiple collections, which really dilutes the original collection and the other collections. You have Bored Ape, Mutants, the dogs, and Pudgies, the rods, the little Pudgies, D-Gods, Utes. So I think if the hybrid tokenization of connecting a token to a NFT was a lot sooner, I think the space would have been vastly different. I think it's a great idea because you kind of get the best of both worlds, and it's not as PvP because you're doing it as a community versus I put one soul in. I told my friends about the CA. They put it in 20 minutes after I did, and I've already exited off of his money. So it's like it alleviates a lot of that, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think meme tokens are really going anywhere. That brought a lot of people into this space. A lot of people are making Jenny wealth. Given that Web3 is so diverse and so broad, it's like being able to talk to someone across the country without walking across a physical border. So from that perspective and how currency works in various countries, I think it will always thrive solely off that fact. $100 in the U.S. may be vastly different in the Philippines. So it just varies, man. But I do think projects launching a token isn't a bad idea. D Gods had Dust very early on, and Dust was performed insanely well. I remember the time where it's like if you bought a D God for like 20K, if you just held on to him and collected the dust, you were making like what 1 to 2 SOL a day per D God or something like that. It was a crazy time. So I do believe that we may get back to that where it's like you get the NFT and the token, but it may not be SPO 404. It may not be the Metaplex MPO 404. It may be something else. But I do feel like that will definitely be a future standard given that the technology is being constantly innovated, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. And even before D Gods, it was like CyberConks with the damn banana token. That was like people were making like tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars, ridiculous amounts of money at the beginning. And what were those? The CyberConks were like 100 ETH floor, and they definitely saw the writing on the wall there. And they're still doing big things out there. But personally, I agree with you. I think there's a good relation there where NFTs connected to a meme coin creates liquidity at the end of the day. So if you want to get out of your NFT, there's always kind of liquidity there to get out of it with that meme coin attachment. You can do a lot of fun stuff with it. Well, I'm definitely rooting for Frogana. It's something that I'm personally going to look to possibly dive into the pond with y'all. So it's definitely a cool project. I think the art's very cool. The community seems cool, and it sounds like you have some big plans there to grow the community even bigger and badder. And I do believe community takeovers like you have an opportunity to thrive because you're there for the project, you're there for the community. I would love to give an opportunity because I know you hold spaces every week. Would love for you to give a shout out so people can join your spaces, learn more about you, about the project. Feel free to shout out your Twitter in the Frogana, just any way people can get a hold of you.
Absolutely. Well, we host spaces every single Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. It is Frogana Friday. It's always a good time, open discussion, open panel discussion between founders from various blockchains, learn about their projects, whitelist giveaways every now and then. And it's just a good time to just vibe. It's very chill. I never pressure anyone to come up on stage, but it's an open discussion. My Twitter is _0x404 didn't realize when I made that name there's a ton of 404s already. But that's me. And I do it every single Friday. I probably missed one because I had COVID, but I make it a mission to hold myself accountable to do this for the community because it's always a great time. And yeah, it's what I love to do. I love showing up every day, no matter rain, sleet, or snow. It's just what makes me happy. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, 404, and we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on the project. And anybody in the audience that wants to learn more, obviously take a look at those links. We're going to post them in the description below. Thanks again.
Thank you.